Welcome back, everyone. You're tuned into the weekly Lock Junkie Rendezvous. We've sifted through the mountain of Locksport content this week.
Yeah, filtered out all the noise, the filler.
Exactly. Left you with just the pure, concentrated fire.
And fire really is the theme today, isn't it? We're calling this one. That's SPICY. Because, wow, some seriously heated stuff dropped this week.
Seriously. Technical deep dives, amazing craftsmanship, and some truly grade-A corporate face planting.
It was quite the mix.
And to celebrate all this heat, we've got a new metric. Everything we're covering gets rated on the official chili pepper scale.
Right. It goes from a truly pathetic Meniketu chili peppers that's like reserved for outright lies or actively harmful stuff,
Total garbage marketing, yeah.
all the way up to a perfect 10 chili peppers. That's for the absolute must-know, pure gold knowledge.
They're hitting everything from, like, advanced mental visualization to spotting industry shills trying to cover their tracks.
Yeah.
All pulled from the best community shares this week.
It's going to be a good one.
But before we get into the spicy technical stuff, I have an announcement. It's necessary, kind of cringe, honestly, and deeply shameful.
Oh, boy.
I need to talk to you, the listeners, directly, especially those just listening on audio. We are now officially on YouTube.
Woo! Video.
Yeah, we're putting up clips, demos, trying to build out the visual side of things.
Which is great, but there's a catch, isn't there?
There's a catch. This is where we need, like, a community intervention. Seriously, we're dropping top-shelf content, detailed breakdowns, and we have 16 subscribers.
16. Ouch.
16. SIXTEN. That's not a typo.
Oh.
That's the actual number. What the actual fuck, folks?
Yeah.
We put out killer analysis every week, and our YouTube channel looks like a ghost town.
It's a bit, well, pitiful.
It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. We need to fix this, like right now. We need subscriber 17, 18, hell, maybe 116 by next week.
Yeah.
Please just click the button, help a couple of lock nerds out.
Yeah, seriously. Our mission today is basically to deliver content so spicy, so essential that you feel compelled to subscribe and maybe, tell a friend or 5.
Drag them over.
Yeah.
We need the numbers. Okay, rant over. Let's get into the actual content.
Yeah.
Hashtag Tech22. Locksport psychology and community quirks. Okay, let's unpack the why behind this whole Locksport thing, kicking off with Broke Picks on YouTube. He asked a really fundamental question in his video. What's the actual core joy here?
Right. Is it the tools, collecting the locks, the puzzle aspect, or like that adrenaline hit?
He brought up Labs opening the 7240 live on video. That kind of high stakes, got it moment.
Yeah, that immediate rush. That's definitely a hook for a lot of people starting out. The emotional payoff is huge.
But then there's the other side, right? The longer term thing. Broke Pick said his personal favorite part was the locks and the keys themselves.
He mentions specific keys, like the Vane key, the multi-lock key, of appreciating the engineering, the history, the design, before you even try to pick it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a romance with the mechanism itself.
It really is, and he talked about how that evolves, right? It goes from just wanting to beat the lock to wanting to truly understand it.
He mentioned looking at every door and just like mentally disassembling the lock inside. Not in a creepy way, just pure technical curiosity.
That's the shift, isn't it? From just picking to grasping the locksmith's intent, the design philosophy.
And then he dropped the technique that really pushed this into high chili territory for us. The mental 3D visualization.
Oh, yeah, that was fascinating.
He described closing his eyes while picking, taking mental slices through the keyway through the core, actively picturing the pins moving, the stacks wobbling, identifying the binder in this like 3D model in his head.
That's the leap, right? Internalizing the mechanism so deeply that you're processing the feel against this abstract spatial map in your brain. It's moving past just reacting to feedback into predictive analysis.
Totally. It separates the casual picker from, the real experts.
But does that intense internal model maybe disconnect you a bit from the actual feel? Like, if you're so focused on your mental map, do you risk missing some weird, subtle feedback that doesn't quite fit?
That's a good question. Could the model override the reality?
I think the best pickers use it more as integration. The model tells you where to expect feedback. If something feels off, a serration feels deeper, a spool counter-rotates weirdly. The 3D map helps you diagnose why almost instantly, instead of just poking around blind.
Okay, yeah. So it's like a diagnostic overlay, not a replacement for tactile sense.
Exactly. It helps interpret the feedback faster and more accurately.
That synthesis, that combination of abstract thinking and precise feel, that's incredible dedication.
For sure. For that deep psychological insight and the advanced technique, we got to give Broke Picks and that mental 3D viz A solid 9.0 chili peppers. That's some pure Locksport thinking right there.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about a community classic, almost a meme. The myth of the paperclip picker.
Ah, yes. The inevitable story.
Saw the post on Reddit, someone lamenting, you mentioned you're into Locksport, and boom, someone jumps in claiming they picked a real lock with a paperclip back in the day.
Everyone's got that friend, right? The secret MacGyver.
The reality is, the community always points out, is they probably did open something. But it's almost always like super low security stuff.
Yeah, wafer locks on old file cabinets, maybe a cheap desk lock, those terrible master lock number 3s, basic luggage locks.
Stuff where the tolerances are just abysmal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The key point here, especially for newer listeners, is that it's usually bad manufacturing, not amazing skill with a paperclip that makes it possible. The tolerance stack-up is so loose, the shear line is practically a canyon.
You could probably use a bent fork tine and get it open.
Pretty much. And paperclips themselves are actually pretty bad tools for this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. They're round, so tensioning is sloppy. They tend to roll, and they're usually way too soft. They just bund when you hit any kind of real resistance, like a security pin.
The consensus is usually that bobby pins are better. The ones with the flat profile and maybe a little crimp, much more rigid. Even a good hairpin is often superior.
Totally. There were some funny examples in the thread, though. Someone mentioned using a rolled-up Post-it note with the paperclip to deal with a sidebar on a cheap tubular lock.
Haha, that's creative low-budget bypass, I guess.
Or picking a 71 Buick ignition with a worn-out pocket knife. Classic car stuff.
And the hotel safe stories always come up. Those things are often designed for easy opening by staff, not real security. Bypasses are often easier than picking.
Right. The tool barely matters when the design itself is flawed.
The community generally agrees, though. These moments are a chance to educate, right? Show them what a real security pin feels like. Explain why their paperclip wouldn't touch, say, an Abbas 7240.
Yeah, turn the anecdote into a teachable moment. So rating this one, it's based on trash locks. And better tools exist even for those. But the stories are kind of fun. Let's say 6.5 chili peppers, foundational knowledge, but still amusing. All right, let's get into the hardware heat for the week. And guess who's back? Sandman on YouTube.
Awesome. Good to see him back.
Yeah, the man is back on his game after getting hit in the motherfucking head doing karate stuff. We missed those detailed breakdowns. Welcome back, Sandman.
So what's he tackling?
He's going after the Masterlock 911 DPF. It's one of their weather-resistant ones, 5-pinner, usually around greenbelt level.
Okay, standard master lock fare, probably.
Pretty much. And he immediately gets into the Masterlock roast, which, let's be honest, is basically mandatory.
Yeah. What was it this time?
Masterlock's packaging brags about having over 9,000 key changes for maximum pick resistance.
9,000. Seriously.
9,000.
In a world where companies like Packlock are hitting, 200,000 combinations?
Exactly. 9,000 is just pathetic. It's a joke. It shows they either don't get it or they just don't care about actual key diversity.
It makes them look completely incompetent, frankly.
He nailed it. That specific marketing claim, that gets its own special rating. A big, fat Nagy 2 chili peppers. Just garbage, Masterlock. Stop embarrassing yourselves.
Okay, so past the marketing fail, what about the pick itself?
He got into the details. Used Tri-Flow lube right away, arguing it actually helps sometimes, especially in humid places, kind of debunking the old lube contaminates the core myth for certain contexts.
Interesting take. What tools?
Use a multi-pick gym-style hook.
Right.
He did mention he consulted on the Hi-O handles, which is good transparency. A minor shill note, but appreciated.
Always good to disclose that stuff. Keyway.
Slightly paracenter. So, you got to be careful with pick placement, need a thin shaft so you're not rubbing the walls and getting false feedback.
Right, standard paracenter challenges.
The core was sprung. Needed light TOK tension. Got a clear false set pretty quick. Confirmed security pins were in play. Took him about 5 minutes for the open.
Decent time. Any surprises in the gutting?
The gutting. That's where the real technical nuggets were. He found 4 spools and 1 serrated pin.
Ooh, mixed security pins. Where was the serrated?
Pin 5. The very last one at the back of the core.
Interesting placement. Maybe trying to hide it back there, relying on the picker, maybe overlooking it after setting the spools.
Could be. Weak strategy, if so, but possible. But the real drama in the gutting was the crimped core.
Ugh, classic master lock.
Yep. They crimped the back of the core housing, basically sealing the plug-in. Makes it a massive pain to disassemble or repin.
It's so anti-hobbyist, it just screams, don't touch this. Forced him to break out a special tool, right?
Exactly. He had to grab the Bondu 764, that specific tool designed to deal with these crimped cores. He realized it was the same issue he'd run into with an old anniversary lock they released.
Just unnecessary hassle.
He also went on a bit of a side tangent about pinning tray workflow, which was actually pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. What was the issue?
He was arguing against the way some trays, like Jimmy Long's, are numbered 7-to-1. He insists, especially for right-handers cutting left to right, pin 1, the front one, has to go in slot 1.
Ah, the workflow optimization argument. Makes sense for efficiency, especially if you're doing a lot of gutting. Keep the order consistent, reduce errors.
Exactly. It's niche, but for serious pickers, that kind of detail matters. Shows his dedication to the craft.
Definitely. So overall rating for Sandman's Return, despite the Master Lock marketing trash and the crimped core.
Yeah, the technical breakdown, the pin details, the workflow debate, that elevated it. We'll give the whole experience a solid 4.0 chili peppers. Good to have him back. Okay, next up, let's talk Runesmith Locksport on YouTube. Our badass from the UK.
Ah, Runesmith. Always quality content.
Seriously, we
Yep.
really appreciate him sharing his knowledge and, crucially, for not being a fucking shill. Just
Yeah.
pure, unadulterated Locksport craft.
Here. What's he picking this time?
The Green TQ Orion 3-star external cylinder. Proper high-security Euro cylinder stuff.
Nice. Love seeing those tackled. Technique.
Masterclass in control. He used a Huck set and a half diamond from Moki. Started with super light tension, got an instant false set.
Okay, so likely hit a spool first pin binding.
Yep. Then he meticulously worked for a deeper false set, fighting through what he figured were complex security pins, probably spools, maybe T-pins.
That takes incredible feel. Maintaining that light tension while forcing counter rotation without dropping everything, that's the tightrope walk.
Absolutely. And the final move? Chef's kiss. He switched to a pick with a straight back, applied careful pressure, and used the built-up counter rotation from the set security pins to basically pop the last top pins all at once.
Whoa, okay, let's break that down. He's leveraging the stored energy in those half-set spools, right? Using the core's desire to snap back to his advantage.
Exactly. Instead of trying to individually nudge the last pin, he uses the core rotation itself, guided by the straight-backed pick to achieve the final set. Calculated risk.
High risk, high reward. If your tension control is even slightly off, or you misjudge the pressure, boom, you drop the whole set.
For sure, you can easily have to start all over.
But pulling it off demonstrates such a deep understanding of the internal physics. Knowing exactly how much force, where to apply it, that's mastery.
Total mastery. Top-tier technical content, zero shilling, just pure Skillshare. Runesmith's Euro cylinder excellence gets a blazing 9.5 chili peppers. Near perfect. Okay, sticking with high skill, let's move over to talent pick on YouTube. Picking a Spanish lock, a Cerradura Life de Persiana de Comercio.
Commercial roller shutter lock. Okay, video's not in English, you said.
Nope, but the picking speaks for itself. It's a 6-pin STS multi-point cylinder. Think Kava-like complexity, so definitely expecting security pins.
Right. But the context was key here, wasn't it? The in situ aspect.
Exactly. He picked it while it was mounted in its display unit, deliberately replicating the awkward position you'd be in trying to pick one on an actual shutter.
Yeah.
Down low, maybe on your knees.
That changes everything. Muscle fatigue, weird angles for your wrist, tension control becomes way harder.
Totally. He even had to use a non-standard tensioner just to keep the tool clear of the door in his own body while he worked.
It's a serious commercial lock-to steel body brass cylinder. The discussion mentioned impressioning tools exist for these SDS systems, so relying purely on SPP in that awkward position is seriously impressive control.
Yeah, this isn't a comfy desk pick. This is replicating real-world challenges.
Big difference. Shows practical application of skill.
Unique situation, high skill level, dealing with non-ideal conditions. Talent Pick's commercial shutter lock grind earns a strong 8.0 chili peppers. And rounding out the hardware section, we've got Lock Noob tackling some vintage gear. A Chubb 4L714L72 rim cylinder.
Ooh, classic Chubb. 6 pins, long key. And it was in a display setup, too.
Yeah, an old ex-locksmith display door frame, which, again, created a physical challenge.
The frame getting in the way of the tensioner, right?
Exactly. He had to bust out a very specific, thin offset tension tool. One designed by Christina Palmer, he mentioned, up to 1.4 millimeter thick, just to clear that frame and get proper leverage.
That's cool. Practical problem solving with custom tools. Love it. What was the picking approach?
Hybrid, quick rake to get things moving, induce a full set, then SPP working from pin 6 back to the front.
Makes sense. And it was a sprung core.
Yep. Adding that extra layer of complexity. constantly fighting that spring pressure.
Can you elaborate on what that feels like for folks? We know what a spring core is, but the feel.
Right. It means you need more tension than usual, just enough to counteract the spring trying to push the core back to neutral, but not so much tension that you bind everything up solid or kill the feedback from security pins.
It's a delicate balance. Too little tension, the core snaps back the second you move your pick, dropping pins. Too much, and you can't feel the counter rotation from spools properly.
Exactly. Demands slower, more deliberate movements, higher risk of dropping set pins.
So, cool vintage lock, real-world constraint from the frame, clever use of specialized tooling, and dealing with a sprung core.
Yeah, lots of good stuff packed in there. We're giving Lock News Display Piece Challenge a solid 7.5 chili peppers. #tag IV. Tools, craftsmanship, and hand health. All right, let's shift gears. We've looked at picking complex locks. Now let's look at the tools we use, the craftsmanship around them, and super importantly, taking care of ourselves. First up, some gorgeous custom work. Tally 308's leather pinning tray.
Oh man, that thing was beautiful. Seriously nice craftsmanship, multi-layer stiffened leather.
And the killer feature, that embedded neodymium magnet right in the center parts area.
Genius! No more C-clips pinging off into another dimension, no more springs rolling away. Such a simple, high-utility upgrade.
Totally. And the vibe around it was great too. Tally was super transparent, saying he'd maybe make like $3 profit per tray.
Yeah, clearly not about the money, just a hobbyist wanting to make something cool and useful for the community. Pure passion project.
And props to Mount1MN1K, who jumped right in, invited Tally to the Dogpack Discord. Just really positive community building around quality work.
That's what we love to see. High-quality gear, made with passion, improving the hobby for everyone. This custom gear and pinning tray innovation gets a huge 9.5 chili peppers. Smoking.
Okay, from elegant leatherwork to, well, mechanical chaos. Let's talk about Sufficient Prompt 8888, getting that Medeco biaxial. The master wafer madness.
Yeah, that plug was absolutely stuffed full of master wafers.
The community figured it was for a maison-keyed or block-keyed system, right? Like in an apartment building where tenant keys open their door in common areas, but not other apartments.
Exactly. Standard practice for key control in large buildings. But packing a complex lock like a Medeco biaxial with that many wafers, it gets wild.
For anyone not familiar, Medeco biaxial is already tough, needs pins lifted and rotated correctly. Adding master wafers just throws gasoline on the complexity fire.
Let's break that down slightly. Normally, you have a key pin and a driver pin, one shear line. Master keying adds thin wafers between those pin segments, driver, wafer, key pin, maybe another wafer, creating multiple points where a split could align with the shear line.
Allows different keys to work. But then there was that calculation. Someone figured out the potential number of clicks needed to pick at, considering both lift and rotation.
Yeah, 2 cubed times 6 cubed came out to 1,728 possible combinations of lift height and rotational position needed to get both the shear line and the sidebar gate aligned.
Sounds impossibly complex, right?
Yeah.
1,728 clicks.
It sounds bad, but here's the twist. All of those master wafers actually make finding a valid vertical shear line easier. There are just more places for it to happen.
So the lift precision requirement goes down.
Significantly. You still have the challenge of rotating the pins correctly for the sidebar, which is the Medeco's main security feature. But the sheer number of potential vertical splits means you get sloppy feedback, softer false sets, and it's generally easier to get some kind of core movement.
So it's complexity for convenience, not purely for security. They prioritized making the keying system flexible over making the lock itself as pick-resistant as possible.
Precisely. It dilutes the core security principle of having one single precise shear line to hit. It felt like they just shimmed the plug with wafers because maybe they ran out of the right pin sizes.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
That irony, that trade-off discussion, that's top-tier Locksport analysis. The Medeco Master Wafer Madness gets a strong 8.5 chili peppers from us. Really highlights that complexity doesn't always equal security. And just quickly looping back to workflow, Sandman's comment about the pinning tray numbering, the 1-7 versus 7-1 thing.
Right, the ergonomic debate. It's niche, but for people gutting lots of locks, having the tray match your natural left-to-right deposition order, pin 1 in slot 1, just makes sense. Reduces errors, speeds things up.
It's about efficiency in the lab.
Yeah.
And shout out to Gnarl Fox for the practical tip on making custom trays, the 14-chip at 90-degree V router bit at 0.26 to depth.
Little details that make a big difference for the dedicated hobbyist.
Okay, much lighter topic now. Seasonal bling. Cap and Phil can share the Halloween-themed pics from Sparrows.
Yeah, the skeleton keys and stuff.
Look pretty cool. Community consensus seemed to be Great for the collection, fun decoration.
But probably not great for actually picking, right? That handle geometry looked potentially painful for long sessions.
Yeah, definitely more form over function. Pure novelty, fun eye candy. We'll rate the seasonal bling a Festa 5.0 chili peppers. Okay, deep breath. This next bit. This is arguably the most critical piece of knowledge in this entire roundup, maybe in the entire hobby.
Absolutely crucial. Cannot stress this enough.
Parafun's post on Reddit. Remember, folks, take care of your hands.
This is it. This is the non-negotiable stuff. We think of Locksport as mental, but it's physical. Ignoring RSI repetitive stress injuries, tendonitis, carpal tunnel, that de Quervain's thing from bad thumb tensioning, it's a path to permanent damage.
He specifically called out endurance picking, just going for hours and gorilla smashing the tensioner. Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. But the advice is key. Light grip, like holding a pen. Neutral wrist posture. If your knuckles are white, you're using way too much force, straining those tendons.
And breaks. Mandatory breaks. 10-20 minutes picking, then 5 minutes off. Minimum. Longer breaks every hour for marathon sessions.
Non-negotiable. And the preventative stuff is gold. Warm-ups, cool-downs, stretches. That median nerve glide he described.
Yeah, let's detail that. Arm straight out, palm up, bend your wrist back towards you. Gently use the other hand to deepen the stretch in the forearm. Keeps those nerve pathways happy.
Crucial for preventing carpal tunnel symptoms. And strengthening, too, using putty, hand grippers, or even just rubber bands for finger extension exercises. Build up the supporting muscles.
Mount 1 M1AT chimed in with great ads, too. Light massage, staying hydrated. Dehydration makes tendons brittle. And importantly, mental resets. Stress makes you tense up physically.
Yeah, the mind-body connection is real. We saw comments from people saying they learned this the hard way already, dealing with PT, maybe even looking at surgery for torn tendons.
It's no joke. Your longevity in this hobby, your ability to keep picking those cool locks we just talked about, depends entirely on respecting your body's limits.
This isn't just advice. It's essential knowledge for sustainability. Taking care of your little grippies gets the highest possible rating. A vital, life-saving 10.0 chili peppers. Please take this seriously. Hashtag tag Ruga, industry shills and community scams.
All right, hands stretched, minds reset. Good, because now we're wading into the corporate swamp. Peak drama time. Proven Industries and the ongoing free.
Oh, this was spicy indeed. So, some account, clearly a shill, pops up on Reddit trying to reignite the old Proven Industries versus McNally lawsuit drama.
Right, echoing PI's totally discredited claims that McNally faked the bypass video, edited it for clicks. Just nonsense.
It's already a textbook case of the Streisand effect, right? PI sues a picker for exposing a flaw, and suddenly everyone knows about the flaw.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really good. That original boneheaded lawsuit. It led directly to Paclock filing a countersuit against Proven Industries.
And that countersuit is just chef's kiss. Paclock went after PI for potentially violating Made in USA labeling laws.
And the best part, the evidence Paclock used came from Proven Industries' own court filings in the first lawsuit.
You can't make this stuff up. PI's own documents showed they were wishy-washy about where they sourced cores and pins, contradicting their public claims of being made in USA while sometimes bragging about using European components.
Glorious cell phone. You can't claim virtually all domestic parts if your guts are coming from overseas, especially when that's a core part of your branding.
The community reaction was spot on. If your lock has a flaw, especially an easy bypass, fix the damn lock. Don't sue the messenger. That just draws more attention and makes you look weak and insecure.
It's the Master Lock playbook, isn't it? Be bad at security, but be loud and litigious about it.
Mountain 1 M. Enrique summed it up perfectly. Weak sauce. Just admit you messed up. Maybe hire the dude who found the flaw as a consultant. Trying to silence critics just confirms you have something to hide.
Totally. This whole saga, the corporate bungling, the legal backfire, the shillery, it's pure unadulterated drama. Proven Industries in the fuckery gets a maximum heat 10.08 chili peppers. So savory. Okay, shifting from corporate shills to maybe local gatekeepers, let's talk about the locksmith outreach protocol. Breezy320 posted about cold calling local locksmiths for scrap locks.
Ah, yeah, the quest for practice locks. Always an adventure.
Mixed results, as you'd expect. Some were just mobile, no shop inventory. Fair enough. Others had scrap contracts already, also legitimate.
But then there was that one locksmith.
Oh, yeah. The spicy pushback. An older locksmith told Bleezy320 he needed a state license just to practice lockpicking as a hobby.
Which is utter bullshit, right? Complete fabrication. No state licenses hobbyists unless they're actually working for money.
Exactly. It's just blatant gatekeeping.
Yep.
That kind of attitude actively hurts the community and discourages newcomers. Ridiculous.
But the community came through with some seriously good advice on how to actually succeed in getting scrap locks.
Yeah, this was the valuable part. Consensus number one. Don't call, go in person. Face-to-face builds trust.
Right. And bring peace offerings. Donuts, pizza, social grease.
Crucially, offer to buy the scrap.
Hmm.
Even if they plan to give it away free, offering payment shows you respect their time and materials. Changes the dynamic.
And the linguistic tip was key, too. Introduce yourself as a lock collector, interested in mechanisms, not necessarily a lock picker.
Why is that?
Some older locksmiths hear lock picking and immediately think of criminals or troublemakers. Collector sounds more benign, more academic, less threatening to their turf.
Smart angle.
Yeah.
Frame it as learning, not defeating.
Exactly. And other sources were mentioned, too. Habitat for Humanity restores are often gold mines for cheap used hardware.
Oh yeah, restores are great. And checking eBay for bulk lots, Elroy's Toys snagged 41 mortise cylinders for $1 each. That's weeks of practice material right there.
So while the gatekeeping sucks, the actionable advice shared by the community on how to navigate that world is incredibly valuable.
For sure. Saves time, saves money, saves frustration. The Locksmith Outreach Protocol, especially the useful tips, gets a well-deserved 9.0 chili peppers. Mostly for the helpful strategies in calling out that license nonsense. #tag6, outro. Final thought. Well, that was quite the ride this week, huh? From the deep end of mental visualization and hand care.
All the way down to the murky depths of corporate shilling and terrible marketing for Master Lock.
We saw some incredible skill with RuneSmith's Green Kick Q open, leveraging that counter rotation like a boss.
And we peeled back the layers on that Medico biaxial, seeing how convenience can sometimes trump raw security.
So if you learned something, if you got a tip on saving your wrists, or if you just dig as keeping an eye on the Locksport world for you, please, for the love of God, hit subscribe on YouTube.
We really need more than 16 subscribers. Seriously, help us out.
Okay, final thought time. Let's circle back to that Medeco, the one stuffed with master wafers.
Right. It's such a perfect example of a crucial concept for advanced pickers to really internalize.
You start with a complex high-security design. Rotating pins, sidebar, tight tolerances. Looks tough.
But then the manufacturer makes decisions driven by operational needs, like letting many different keys work using master wafers rather than purely by maximizing pick resistance.
And that act, prioritizing convenience or key management over pure mechanical security, fundamentally compromises the design's integrity, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It might still look complex, but those added shear lines from the wafers become points of weakness. The complexity serves the system administrator more than it foils the picker.
The raw security gets diluted. It's a trade-off. Resistance is sacrificed for flexibility.
So the big takeaway for you to chew on this week is this. Always analyze the purpose behind a lock's complexity versus the actual difficulty of the puzzle it presents.
Is that complexity there solely to stop you, the picker? Or is it there to make life easier for the building manager?
Because if it's the latter, the picker often gains an advantage, even if the lock looks intimidating on the surface. Think about purpose versus puzzle.
Deep thoughts.
Yeah.
Now go do those median nerve glides, take care of your hands, and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. We'll catch you next time for more spice.